Hello friends! In the manga community, I feel like we kind of talk about the same several series of manga. They always tend to be ones that are currently releasing or are just like really popular at the moment. So today I wanted to talk about a few series that I feel like aren't talked about enough, or as I would like to say, criminally underrated. I have 4 series in here that I feel like deserve a little more love in the manga community. I think all but one of these series are completed, so that might be a factor why they're not talked about as much, because they're not kind of like currently being released, so they're not in the forefront of people's minds. But this video is to bring these series to the forefront of people's minds. The first manga that I want to talk about is one that I have talked about in my last recommendations video, and it is Hatsu Haru. Hatsu Haru is a high school shoujo romance manga published by Yen Press, and it is by Suzuki Fujisawa. Hatsu Haru is 13 volumes, and I think it finished publishing in English, I want to say maybe last year, maybe the year before that, like semi-recently. Time doesn't mean anything to any of us anymore. Hatsu Haru is so much fun, and a lot of the times when I talk about this, people have told me, oh, like I haven't heard of that and I went to go pick it up, and I'm so glad I did because it was so much fun. And that's exactly what needs to happen to you if you have not read Hatsu Haru, is you need to go pick it up because you are going to love it. There are several things I love about Hatsu Haru. So first off, what is it about? Hatsu Haru is about this guy, Ichino Sekai, and he is like the school playboy. You know, he has all the girls' phone numbers, he has a new girlfriend every week, you know, he is a playboy. And one day, playing with a girl's feelings, and then he gets punched in the face by a childhood friend, Riko. And this punch in the face totally turns Kai's life around. He just falls in love with Riko immediately. And Riko is not the type of girl that Kai normally goes for. She is short, she's short-tempered, she's kind of like a tomboy type of girl, which is like the complete opposite of what Kai normally likes. But for some reason, this punch in the face has made him a complete simp for this girl. Hatsu Haru is about Kai and his relationship with Riko, and kind of how that evolves, and the like romantic feelings between the two of them that may or may not be there, and it is so much fun. There are a few things that I love about Hatsu Haru. The first thing that I love is that it is a series that is told from the male perspective. And this is not like a new or revolutionary thing that Hatsu Haru has done. There are a lot of shoujo manga that are told from the male perspective, but I feel like we don't get a ton of them. I personally have not read many that are from the male perspective, and I feel like predominantly like high school shoujo romance, at least the ones that we have in English that are published in the US, mostly are going to be from the girl's perspective. So this was a little bit of a breath of fresh air with the like who is basically the stories from the perspective of. I like that it was like the roles were sort of reversed in this. So you have Kai, who is like completely in love with somebody, with this girl, like he is head over heels. He's like wondering how she feels with him, about him, and he's kind of like going back and forth on his feelings, and kind of in the role that most girls in high school shoujo romance have. Then you have Riko, who we don't really know 100% what she's thinking all of the time. She seems to be like a little, I don't want to use the word stoic for her, but she's not like your typical like shoujo like girly girl. She's a little quieter, and so you don't 100% know what she's thinking or what she's feeling all of the time. So it's kind of like the shoujo tropes flipped around, of the guy who is like doing the pining and the girl who is like you don't know what they're thinking. Another thing that I really like about this manga is how much fun it is and how hilarious it is. There have been few manga where I have laughed out loud so much while reading it. Kai is such a fun main character because he has like all of these existential crises about his feelings and about his relationship with Rico and everything like that. You know, he kind of just like spirals into like what could happen or what is Rico thinking, and what am I gonna do about this. And it's just really fun. He's like really over dramatic, and he's just like he turns into like a little puppy when he thinks about Rico and like how much he likes her, and it's just really fun the way it's executed. I love all of like the thought spirals that he goes down. It's just a lot of fun, the situations that happen, that sort of thing. I think most of what makes it funny is how like adorable Kai is. It has an excellent cast of side characters too. There are a bunch of other kind of couples or pairings in here, you know, and they're like a wide variety of different types of pairings. So there's like a couple in here for everyone, or a relationship for everyone. You know, there's like a short cute boy and like a tall girl, and then there's like the super cool popular kind of quiet sort of dude, and then like a weird loud girl, and then my favorite couple is the like son of the Buddhist temple and the daughter of the Shinto shrine, and like they always get like paired up together, and like kind of their conflict, it's really fun. There are so many great moments in this, and just if you want like a really cute story about a guy who's completely in love with a girl and you want to laugh out loud, Hatsu Haru is definitely your manga. Next manga I want to talk about is one that I have talked about, I feel like, several times on my channel. It's a manga that has like consumed everything about me. It is QQ Sweeper and Queen's Quality. Now, I have seen a lot of people reading more of this lately, and I've seen more and more people talking about this, which is great, but I feel like people are not talking about it enough. There is quite a long time between volumes that are released, so that may be why not many people are talking about it, but I feel like just people need to talk about this all the time, because I want to talk about it all the time. There are 3 volumes of QQ Sweeper, which is the beginning of the series, and then after that it goes on to Queen's Quality, which starts with volume 1 again, and then currently there are 12? Yeah, there are 12 volumes currently out, and volume 13 comes out in December. What is this series about? I'm just gonna call it Queen's Quality from now on, just for like ease, but Queen's Quality is basically about Fumi and Kyutaro. Fumi is this girl who is always been a loner. She doesn't have a family. She's kind of seen as this like cursed girl where like bad things happen around her all of the time. And then you have Kyutaro, and Kyutaro is also sort of a loner. He doesn't have a lot of friends at school, and he's kind of like the person who like cleans up the most at the school. And you find out that Kyutaro is a sweeper. And so a sweeper is somebody who basically helps people who are having extreme feelings of anger or depression or like negative thoughts. And in this world, these negative thoughts manifest as these bugs that kind of infest their like hearts and minds and exacerbate these feelings and make them like way worse than they are. So it's a sweeper's job to go into their mind and clean up these bugs. And it also is their job to go into their physical space and clean up their physical space. Kyutaro and Fumi end up meeting, and one thing leads to another, and Fumi ends up becoming Kyutaro's apprentice sweeper. There are several special things about Fumi. First off is that Fumi reminds Kyutaro of his childhood crush, Fuyu. And it's kind of the question of, is Fumi Kyutaro's childhood crush? Because there's so many things that remind him of her. And then also Fumi has some particular powers. She seems to be quite special, and she has the potential to become a queen. So she could become a black queen or the white queen. So she could be the good or the bad queen, essentially. And so it's kind of, which way will Fumi end up going? And is Fumi Kyutaro's like long lost childhood first love? Queen's Quality follows the two of them and their like Kyutaro's family, who are also sweepers, and they go around kind of like exterminating these bugs that are making people's lives miserable, essentially. The plot kind of like grows from there. You find out about other sweeper organizations and kind of like the big bad that appears, and their kind of quest to get rid of that, and how it like weaves into Fumi and Kyutaro's past. This is a really dark shoujo story, so like there's a romance aspect to it, but it is not all light and fluffy. There is some really dark images. It deals a lot with anger and depression. So if those are things that trigger you, then be aware. There are so many things that I love about this series. I could talk about it forever. First off, I like kind of the discussion on mental health that it has in different sort of ways. Of course, the things that it talks about in regards to mental health are not like cures for depression, and that if you have like depression like really bad or in any sort of way really, seeing a therapist or taking medication is definitely better solves than what I'm going to talk about here, but these are things that like have helped me in the past. It was really nice to see them reflected in this manga. So the first one is the notion of cleaning your space. So one thing that sweepers do in this world is they maintain their spaces really well. Their houses are always clean, their clothes and their things are always really clean, because it helps keep away the bugs and that like kind of exasperate these bad feelings. That is something that like I kind of relate to. I do know when I'm feeling really anxious or I'm feeling really sad, I kind of take a look around my space, and if it is really dirty or messy, then I clean it up and I tend to feel a lot better afterwards. At least to me, there is nothing like a clean space. I know I always feel better after I clean my house or even just my room. It kind of like lifts this like weight off of me, and it makes me feel just a little bit better. So I really liked seeing that reflected in this manga a lot. Another thing that is prevalent in this manga a lot is the aspect of people around you are there to support you. You know, there is a lot of physical touch in this, and like comforting that way, and just like by talking through your problems with somebody you care about, or just being there like as a shoulder to lean on when you're having a hard time, or somebody to get a hug from, is something that'll help you like kind of keep the darkness at bay a little bit. So I really like that aspect of this manga, this kind of like mental health or like mind clearing aspect to kind of keep the dark thoughts away a little bit. Another thing about this manga that I am obsessed with is the romance aspect of it. So this is a romance manga. The romance plot is a big deal in it, and it is one of the best. I like to use the phrase it is very intensely romantic, and because that's what it is. And I'm not talking about in like a spicy sense, I'm talking about in a way that Fumi and Kyutaro are so absolutely supportive of each other, and it's the like way that they are connected to each other and the way that they support each other, and they talk through each other's problems and they work through things together, and it is just so nice to read. I don't think you're gonna find a miscommunication plot in this at all, because these characters are so good at communicating their feelings to each other. There is also like the I'm not gonna use the word spicy because you're not there, because they are high schoolers. Just like the emotions that is conveyed in the art in this, like I am not going to show this because it's in later volumes and I'm not going to talk about it, but there are several moments in here that just had me screaming, like romantic moments where like they kiss or they're like embracing in a really romantic ways. Really great, but also just like the way that they hold each other or the way that they look at each other, and it is so absolutely gorgeous and beautiful to read. The art in this is like so beautiful. There are moments that just like take my breath away, and I just have such a good time just looking at this manga. Even the covers are gorgeous. I feel like this series would lend itself really, really well to an anime, and the fact that we do not have an anime is another crime in the anime world, because it would do so well. It's got that really dark aspect of it that will bring in people who are not really shoujo people, and then it also has like all of the great shoujo like romance type of stuff in it, that will bring the shoujo people, and it would just be so, it would be so good. It would be gorgeous. You get the right studio to do it, and it would be so amazing. Person I would become if Queen's Quality got an anime, like you would never hear the end of it. That would just be, I would change my Twitter to a Queen's Quality anime Twitter, because that's how much I want this animated. It would be so good. And then with an anime, you get figures. I would buy the money I would spend on Queen's Quality figures. You don't even know. There are poses in this manga where I'm like, I want a figure of that so badly. I want that on my shelf, in a plastic statue. So Queen's Quality, like dark plot, intense, beautiful romance, communications between your romantic leads. It's got it all. So I definitely need more people to like yell about this series with, and when volume 13 comes out in December, you better prepare yourself. Switching gears to something a little more realistic, this is an older manga that I like. I don't even think I've seen it in many people's collections. Maybe I've only seen like one person have this, but it is a story that is very dear to my heart, and it is Honey and Clover. Honey and Clover is about a group of college students in art college and their struggles with becoming adults, finding out what they want to do later in life, like as a job, in the future, like what the rest of their life is going to look like, and also about artistic talent and people who are insanely talented, the discussion of hard work versus talent, and like being around friends who are extremely talented, and what do you do with the feelings that creates. Also about love and relationships and unrequited love, that sort of thing, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I haven't finished this manga, actually. I am, I think 5 volumes in. I'm about halfway through, but I am very familiar with this story. I've seen the live action movie and the live action drama series, which I think are like pretty close adaptations to the manga. I feel like a lot of people really need to read it, especially if you're looking for kind of a romancy manga for adults that's not really like of the spicy variety. I feel like a lot of like shoujo manga is about the transitional period from high school, or like being in high school and then maybe going, like ending the end of high school and going into college, but this is kind of like going through college and moving into adulthood. So I feel like this would appeal to a lot of older shoujo readers, where they kind of want that, who are also in that transitional period of their life where they're moving from college into the adult world. There were so many moments in this that I related to, from not knowing what you want to do when you grow up, essentially, the relationship aspects. It's about the complications of relationships and that sort of thing, and it's so beautiful. There's a lot of like really like crazy fun, like zany college student hijinks going on here, but there's also some really great poignant moments too, that the main character is like reflecting back on the fun times that they're having. I'm like starting to get choked up on this. It talks a lot about the feeling of life is never gonna be this way again. I feel like that's the Friends theme song. If you've been to college, you know that college is a very unique point in your life where you are surrounded by all people who are the same age as you. They have the same relative goals, and I feel like college or university is very unique experience that you will never experience after that. So it talks a lot about that kind of really unique experience and environment that college is, and how you need to like treasure those moments and how fleeting that time could be. I feel like it is such a special manga that more people need to read, and I know it is older, so it's like not necessarily like on the bookshelves in Barnes and Noble, but I highly recommend you go and find this. Probably your best bet is going to be digital at this point. So I have volumes 1 through 7, and then I have volume 10. The rest of them I have on order on Right Stuff, but they're back ordered. So at this point in time where we have like supply chain issues, and there's a lot of stuff that's just like out of stock right now, and we don't really know when it's going to be back in stock. Older series like this, I don't know if they're ever going to come back in stock. So if you want to read this series right now, I highly recommend you pick it up digitally, because it is definitely worth your time to read. The last manga I'm going to talk about is one I literally finished last weekend. If you follow me on Instagram at all, and you keep up with my stories, you will have seen me talk about this manga a lot. And it is Library Wars Love and War. Library Wars is a little bit weird, I'm just gonna say. So Library Wars is a like kind of romance action workplace manga that is based off of a set of light novels. I'm gonna try to explain Library Wars in the best way I can, because it's a little bit weird and a little bit complicated. Library Wars is set in an alternate present, and in this world, 30 years ago, the Japanese government implemented what they called the Media Betterment Act, and this was a way to basically control art and books and movies and stuff like that, to kind of make society better. But over the years, it has escalated into essentially just censorship. The Media Betterment Committee is a federal organization. In order to combat this, the local libraries have kind of organized together to fight this censorship by the Media Betterment Committee. Over these 30 years, the conflicts between the libraries who are trying to defend the right for people to read whatever they want and to fight this censorship, and the Media Betterment Committee, this fight has basically escalated into armed conflict. The creation of the Library Defense Force, which is the setting for our story. Library Wars follows our main character of Iku Kasahara, and she is a like tomboy type of character, and when she was in high school, she was in a bookstore, and the final book in her favorite series finally came out. And as she was going to buy this book, the Media Betterment Committee came into the bookstore that she was at, and they started pulling things out of the bookstores because they were on the censor list. And she fought them because she really wanted this book, and then this member of the Library Defense Force comes in and basically saves all of the books in the bookstore. He's like, these all belong to the library now, so you guys can GTFO. So this courageous member of the Library Defense Force, he saved Kasahara's favorite book and has become this like inspirational figure to her, and he has inspired her to join the Library Defense Force. It's about Kasahara and her trying to find this prince that saved her when she was in her book in high school, and then it's also about her and her teammates. And basically the relationship between her and her instructor, Atsushi Dojo, is a romance plot that develops between the two of them. It's also about them fighting the Media Betterment Committee and their fight against censorship. I was originally introduced to this series through the anime, so I watched the anime. I also watched the live action movies, which have Okada Junichi from V6 as Dojo, which was a perfect casting. I finally picked up the manga and just read it all like in basically a week. This manga is so much fun. The kind of romance that develops between Kasahara and Dojo is really, really fun because they kind of like, it's kind of like not enemies to lovers, but they really like butt heads over a lot of stuff. And then also they have like the dynamic of like she's really tall and like he's really short, so it's fun that way. Also, the commentary on censorship is really good. There's a lot of really good discussion about what the government should and shouldn't be in control of in regards to books and art and stuff like that. There are a few other like characters that have different kind of ideals and how you should approach getting rid of this censorship and that sort of thing like that. But the thing that really shines about this, I definitely think, is the romance aspect of it. It's just really fun seeing Kazuhara grow and Dojo kind of teaching her and like mentoring her, and the internal battle that Kazuhara has when she finds out she's falling for her instructor. It's really, really fun. There's a bunch of really fun side characters. I really like Tezuka and Shibasaki. I really haven't met anybody who knows about this and who doesn't like it. It's really fun. The premise is a little bit out there, I think, but it does offer like a really good kind of background discussion in it, and the characters are all really, really fun. The kind of will they won't they thing is really good. Character growth is believable and really, really enjoyable to watch. There's just something really fun about watching two people who are like obviously in love with each other, like kind of fight those feelings, and it's just like a really, really good time. It's so good. Like, read it, please. It is kind of hard to get a hold of right now, but definitely check it out on digital. You can purchase digital copies of it, which is going to be your best bet to get all of the copies of it. Volume 5 is like eternally out of stock. I had a friend, thank you Maeve, who found it for me and sent it to me, and then I had to buy a few of them on digital because my physical copies are on hold right now. Library Wars, like, give it a shot because you will have so much fun. Like, there were so many moments, it's so funny. There are moments I put on my Instagram and I had people like messaging me and be like, what is this? This is so funny. I need to know what it is. It's Library Wars. Read it, please. Like, this is really, really underrated. There is like a sequel manga to this, but I don't think we're ever gonna get it in English because it's not popular enough. So everybody demand to read Library Wars so I can read the sequel manga, please. Those are my underrated manga. If you haven't read any of these manga, I highly recommend you check them out because you will definitely have a good time. Many of them will make you laugh, some of them will make you cry, and some of them will make you do both. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these manga, what you thought of them, and let me know what your favorite criminally underrated manga is. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more manga goodness from me. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Till next time, matane!